When it was announced that William Zepeda would be heading forward in his next fight to take on the likes of Tevin Farmer, my immediate reaction was, what? Because, Farmer was coming off of a loss where he had just faced Raymond Muratalla in July. But then the more that I thought about it, because Farmer had been one of the most active fighters in modern day boxing, and I said, well, he had already fought in March of this year too, and they were on the similar schedule. So I was looking ahead to the possibilities, and I realized this was going to be an interesting fight, but the type of fight that Zepeda may not be looking for. So let's talk about what happened when they faced one another in Riyadh season on November 16th. Boxing, when you have positive backing, can always surprise you a little bit. And there were some surprises on the entire card that saw we return to unification. The story goes that there would be unification between Zerto and Chris Billum-Smith, two cruiserweight champions of the WBA and WBO ilk, who would come together on November 16th in a fight that was billed as Latino Night. But we're not talking about that fight right now. We're talking about something else that went down, and that was the fight that took place between William Zepeda and and Tevin Farmer. Now that fight, Farmer and Zepeda, saw these two men come out and compete in a way that many didn't see coming. And initially, when you talk about Zepeda, he's the guy that throws 100 punches around. He doesn't have a big knockout punch. However, he's strong at the lightweight division, and he is looking for his title shot. So when it was set up that he would be fighting Tevin Farmer, I know that they were looking at Farmer's name and feeling like, well, he should be able to handle Farmer because he's a little bit taller, and after they rehydrate, Zepeda should present a bigger image at 5'9" with the 69.5-inch reach. Being 28 years of age, the southpaw Zepeda was looking for any advantage that he and his promoter and management, Golden Boy, can gain for him. But Tevin Farmer, the veteran, who's 34 years of age, also a southpaw, 5'6" with a 67.5-inch reach, and former featherweight champion, a man who has been taken to task and knows how to handle himself in the ring. He came out and took the fight to Zepeda right away, bullying him around, pushing him off his center square, making him take a step back, and occasionally dropping a straight left on the button that saw Zepeda try to pretend as if it didn't hurt him or it had little effect, but we know that there was an effect. Zepeda responded in kind by trying to pick up the pace as he normally does, and there were opportunities for him to try to land and place his punches in a more efficient manner, but a lot was missing, and glancing off of Farmer's shoulders, arms, and missing altogether. So Zepeda was in a situation where he was in a fight with a man that he hadn't fought before in his career. When you talk about his 30 victories, you're thinking about the opponents that he had, just like his most recent opponents, and guys like Giovanni Cabrera, who is not a boxer, Maxie Hughes from the UK, and Mercita Gesta, who all of these guys did not present an image to Zepeda that saw him be able to do something that would give us an indication that he may be prepared for the likes of Farmer. And when this fight came together, the closer we got to it, many others began to state that they could actually see Farmer coming in here and presenting a problem for Zepeda, as he did. The one thing about Tevin Farmer is when he's active and he gets into his rhythm, he's a difficult fighter to defeat. And there were a number of named fighters floating around the featherweight and super featherweight divisions who didn't really want any part of him. He suffered a loss to Joseph Diaz in 2020, January, a unanimous decision in which he just kind of came apart in that fight for whatever reason. But Joseph Diaz, who in 2022, October, took on the likes of Zepeda and lost a unanimous decision in that fight. But JoJo had run into some issues outside of the ring, of which he's still trying to recover from. All in all, what I'm trying to say here is it doesn't matter that these men have been facing one another, and you think about what some people refer to as triangle theories. These guys are the type of fighters that when they get in there with one another, they will fight, they will give as good as they can, but it's up to the individual. And in this fight on this night, Farmer fought with much more spirit and vigor than he did when he faced Muratalla just months earlier. I had him winning the fight, actually. And when he scored the knockdown, it really put something on Zepeda's mind. You could kind of see that William, who it was his first taste of the canvas, in round 4, the wheels were turning. What I didn't like was the fact that Farmer didn't test the water with him a little stronger going forward. But again, when we talk about how he fights, he didn't come outside of himself as far as his performance. And he was nailing with precise shots that were scoring emphatically. It's just that Zepeda was more active, but he wasn't effective with that activity. Yes, in the later rounds, Farmer began to wear down a bit, and he even crossed a point where in this fight he looked toward Farmer, Zepeda did, and he was trying to acknowledge that Tevin was giving him the type of competition he hadn't expected. But what I really, really didn't like was the fact that there were a couple of judges that had this fight scored in a manner of which, I'm sorry, we're seeing it more and more, where boxers are not getting the credit. The scores was close, but in favor of Zepeda, who had touched the canvas. And when I saw those scores, it let me know that because this was Latino night, all they were trying to do was get another one of the fighters to come away with a victory any way that they could. Was this a robbery? I don't think it was a robbery, but I do believe the better fighter did not win on this night. And when you think about Tevin Farmer, though he has 6 losses on his record, he is a quality former champion that can still give even the best of them a run for their money with the talent that he has and his ability to box and his ring IQ. And I hope to see him again in the ring with another opportunity because he's deserving of it if no other guy is. But I have to ask, what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about this fight, the performances of the fighters, and what you think should be next for both men. There are rumors of Shakur Stevenson when it comes to Zepeda, but will he be ready for Shakur? And hey, listen, we're talking about Tevin Farmer. He should have an opportunity as well. Leave comments and let's discuss. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.